Have you ever stopped to think about what would happen if the internet just disappeared? 1 second it's there, the next, poof. Gone. It's a wild thought, right? Our world is so deeply woven into the web that picturing life without it feels like imagining a world without electricity or running water. Let's dive into this mind-bending scenario. What would a world without the internet actually look like? First, let's talk about the immediate chaos. The global economy would grind to a screeching halt. The stock market gone. It's all digital. Banks would freeze, no online transactions, no ATM withdrawals, no credit card payments. Your money, which mostly exists as digital data on a server somewhere, would be inaccessible. International trade, which relies on instant communication and digital logistics, would collapse overnight. We're talking about a financial apocalypse within the first 24 hours. The supply chains that bring food to your local grocery store, medicine to pharmacies, and fuel to gas stations would be completely severed. The world would instantly be thrust into a state of panic and scarcity. But it's not just about money and goods. Think about information. All of it gone. Google, Wikipedia, online news sites, our collective digital brain wiped clean. Suddenly, we wouldn't be able to look up a simple recipe, check the weather, or find out what's happening on the other side of the world. All those libraries of knowledge, all the scientific research stored online, all the art, music, and movies vanished. We'd be thrown back into an age of information darkness. Your only source of news would be your neighbor, a printed newspaper if they can still be made, or a radio broadcast if the stations can still operate. The spread of misinformation could become rampant, with no way to fact-check anything. It's a terrifying thought, isn't it? And what about us, our social lives? No more social media, no more video calls with family across the globe, no more instant messaging. The feeling of isolation would be immense and immediate. For many, the online communities they rely on for support would simply cease to exist. Relationships that are maintained over long distances would be strained, possibly to the breaking point. We'd have to relearn how to connect with people in our immediate vicinity. The concept of community would shrink from a global village back to our physical neighborhood. We'd have to talk to each other, face to face, relying on physical mail that would take days or weeks, if the postal service could even function without its digital infrastructure. Let's not forget entertainment. Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, video games, all gone. We'd have to rediscover old forms of entertainment. Board games, reading physical books, playing musical instruments, gathering to tell stories. It might sound a bit nostalgic and romantic, but the initial shock would be profound. The silence would be deafening. The entire entertainment industry, as we know it, would be decimated. Millions of creators, artists, and technicians would be out of a job instantly. The cultural landscape would be forever changed. But let's look beyond the initial chaos. Could there be a silver lining? After the panic subsides and humanity begins to adapt, what would this new world look like? People would be forced to be more self-reliant. Local communities would become incredibly important. We'd have to grow our own food, fix our own things, and rely on the skills of our neighbors. Bartering systems might make a comeback. Skills like farming, carpentry, and mechanics would suddenly be more valuable than coding or digital marketing. It would be a massive, society-wide reset of what we value. Our social skills would arguably improve. Without the distraction of a screen in our pockets, we'd be more present in the moment. We'd make more eye contact. We'd have deeper conversations. Boredom, something we constantly try to escape with our phones, would return. And boredom is a powerful catalyst for creativity and innovation. Maybe we'd see a renaissance of local arts, theater, and music. We'd have to create our own entertainment, our own culture, from the ground up. The pace of life would slow down dramatically. The constant pressure to be available, to respond instantly, to keep up with the latest trend, would vanish. This could have a huge positive impact on our mental health. Anxiety and depression rates, which have been linked to heavy social media use, might actually decrease. We'd spend more time outdoors, connecting with nature instead of a network. We'd rediscover the rhythm of the sun and the seasons, rather than the 24/7 news cycle. Of course, rebuilding would be a monumental task. Critical infrastructure like power grids, water systems, and transportation networks are all managed with internet-connected systems. Getting these back online without the internet would require a complete re-engineering of our modern world. It would be a slow, painstaking process, taking decades, if not centuries. We'd have to reinvent systems for everything, from air traffic control to medical record keeping. Scientific progress would slow to a crawl without the ability to share data and collaborate globally. So, if the internet disappeared, we'd face an unprecedented global crisis. The immediate aftermath would be chaos, scarcity, and isolation. But in the long run, it might force us to become more resilient, more connected to our local communities, and more in touch with ourselves and the physical world. It's a stark reminder of how fragile our modern civilization is and how dependent we've become on this invisible network that wraps around our planet. It makes you appreciate that little Wi-Fi symbol, doesn't it? It's not just a connection to the web. It's a connection to the world as we know it. What do you think? Would humanity survive and thrive, or would we crumble? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. It's a fascinating and frightening scenario to consider. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy pondering these big what-if questions, make sure to subscribe for more. See you next time!